Amidst the crowd, Xinglong and Little Bai appeared next to Xiao Yin at some point and remarked, "The palace of the Jiaoyu Fairy is truly extraordinary in its mystery. Astrology Valley folks? What are they doing here?" The five poisons asked, genuinely surprised. Few had connections with Astrology Valley, but the five poisons was among them. Astrology Valley? Xiao Yin echoed with a furrowed brow, clearly unfamiliar with this sect. Just as the five poisons was about to explain, Xinglong approached Xiao Yin. "Xinglong from Astrology Valley, nice to meet you," she said with a smile, extending a fair hand. "What's this guy up to?" Yuru and Mu Yingying exchanged wary glances, clearly uneasy with Xinglong's sudden approach. Xiao Yin, equally puzzled, watched as Xinglong came over. Meanwhile, other formidable figures were locked in fierce combat, battling for possession of the treasure chest. So why had this person come over to him? "Don't worry, I mean no harm," Xinglong assured. "But you do have some intriguing things that catch the eye. If you ever find the time, feel free to visit Astrology Valley. My master would gladly read your fortune." "I don't buy into that," Xiao Yin replied flatly, declining Xinglong's invitation. While he did have his share of secrets, he wasn't desperate for guidance just yet. "You might reconsider. Astrology Valley's predictions are remarkably accurate," Xinglong continued. "My master once said that thousands of years ago, when the ghost realm attempted to invade the mystic three heavens multiple times, it was only thanks to the preemptive warnings from the Valley Master that the strong of mystic three heavens were prepared. Without those predictions, mystic three heavens might not exist today. This is why, even as Astrology Valley's disciples dwindle, the sect still endures," Lin Zhu, standing by the five poisons, explained, her large eyes blinking thoughtfully. "Is it really that mysterious?" Xiao Yin wondered, still somewhat skeptical. "When you're truly desperate, I'm sure you'll come by. Astrology Valley welcomes you," Xinglong said before departing, leaving Xiao Yin to ponder her words. Her suggestion lingered in Xiao Yan's mind. Perhaps someday he might visit Astrology Valley. But her implication that he would become desperate left him confused. "It seems the battle is nearing its end. Prepare to make a move." Xiao Yin shifted his focus, readying himself as the clash among strong warriors for the treasure chest reached its climax. "You old bastard." Just then, Gunny was forced to reveal his true power by Meng Fei's relentless assault, cursing as he did. "Gunny's strength is indeed fearsome," Meng Fei admitted, struggling. Despite his formidable power and soul strength, Meng Fei found it difficult to defeat Gunny, which frustrated him to no end. Meanwhile, Song Yu, with his early 7-star Do D strength, matched evenly against Wang Xie, a mid 7-star Do D. Venomous liquid seethed from Wang Xie, but even so, Song Yu remained calm under pressure, his radiant sword intent forcing Wang Xie into a defensive state. Similarly, Hua Lixin and Qi Haoqing were locked in a fierce struggle, while Bing Shuai was entangled with other 7-star Do D experts. For now, the treasure chest remained untouched. "I'll go take a look," Xiao Yin said, devising a plan as he surveyed the ongoing battles. "Be careful, or you'll become everyone's target. The allure of the treasure in front of them means no one will fear the forces behind you," Xiaoqi warned. "Understood," Xiao Yin replied quietly. A shimmer of a silver array glowed beneath his feet, and the next moment, his figure vanished. In an instant, Xiao Yin reappeared beside the treasure chest, where a similar silver array manifested once more. A short-range, spatial teleportation array. "Hurry!" As Xiao Yan's figure emerged, the other fighting experts noticed something was amiss. They had been fighting fiercely, yet someone had seemingly swooped in to seize the treasure. None were willing to accept this. "Xiao Yin, you bastard! You've got a death wish!" Gunny shouted furiously, launching a massive, terrifying attack at Xiao Yin. Aware of the formidable strength of these adversaries, even one alone could pose a challenge, let alone the collective threat they now presented. But Xiao Yan's speed was exceptional. With a flourish of brilliant imperial flame enveloping his hand, he protected himself from any potential poison, snatching up the golden key. Before the shocked eyes of the crowd, he inserted the key into the chest lock. Whoa! Before long, as the terrifying ripples settled down, Xiao Yin, without overthinking, reached into the treasure chest, grabbing whatever he could get his hands on without any hesitation. 4 scrolls. Upon thrusting his hand into the chest, Xiaoyan discovered there were no traps, just 4 scrolls emanating an ancient aura. Without delay, he seized all 4 scrolls with a swift motion. These scrolls seem to have a connection with me. It's you, Xiaoyan thought as his hand remained inside the chest. Thanks to the dazzling ancient energy, the other power holders were oblivious to what lay within. Xiaoyan smartly sensed that one of the scrolls resonated with something on his person, and without a second thought, he stored it in his storage ring. 3 scrolls. Suddenly, Xiaoyan pulled out the remaining 3 scrolls, with a nonchalant remark escaping his lips, performing the act flawlessly. Damn you! Meng Fei, witnessing this, accelerated his speed, lunging directly towards Xiaoyan in an attack. Take them! Xiaoyan, thinking quickly, realized he couldn't keep everything for himself. Instantly, he randomly tossed 1 scroll to Meng Fei, while flinging the remaining 2 towards the surrounding fighters. You scoundrel! Gu and I, seeing this, with eyes turning red, ignored the 2 scrolls tossed aside by Xiaoyan and rushed directly at him, launching an attack. Dark energy swirled from Guni's hand, laced with a deeply unsettling malevolence. Xiaoyan, I'll make you pay. Just as Xiaoyan grasped a scroll, Guni's assault caught him off guard. Ah, forget it. These 3 scrolls are useless to me. I might as well make it look real. Xiaoyan smirked and collided head-on with Guni's attack. Ugh. Blood spurted from his mouth. The scroll in Xiaoyan's hand was also knocked away in the chaos. Xiaoyan. Mu Yingying and her group saw what happened and prepared to rush in, only to be blocked by Wu Du and Xiu Qi. You stay here. We'll handle it, the 2 women said, leaping into the fray. Boom, boom, boom. Didn't expect you to end up like this, Xiaoyan. Gu and I casually pocketed the scroll, staring at Xiaoyan with a murderous intent in his eyes. You think you can kill me? Xiaoyan sneered, summoning an even more dazzling flame as he retaliated against Gu and I, who was within striking distance. The scroll is with Gu and I. Someone in the midst of battle shouted, and instantly, Gu and I, who was clashing with Xiaoyan, found himself besieged by others, all vying for the scroll. You bastard! Curse you! Only now did Gu and I realize why Xiaoyan had tossed the scrolls before feigning injury. He cleverly shifted focus and indirectly tricked them with the remaining scrolls. These suddenly turned into hot potatoes, a disaster waiting to happen for whoever picked them up. With the other fighters now closing in, Meng Fei and Hua Loxin lunged at Gu and I, evidently aiming to reclaim what he had snatched. Gu and I. Hua Loxin, the controlling her puppet, sent it charging at Gu and I with an eerie vitality, rivaling even humans in its lifelike dexterity due to its vibrant life force. Boom, boom, boom. The devastating puppet attack put immense pressure on Gu and I. Although unafraid, he struggled to counter 2 formidable 7-star Do Xian fighters simultaneously. Hand over the scroll. Hua Loxin demanded coldly, fixing her gaze on Gu and I. Hand it over? How will you 2 split it? Gu and I smirked, looking between Hua Loxin and Meng Fei. Don't bother with your trickery. How we divvy it up is our concern. But if you don't hand it over, I'm afraid. Meng Fei, recognizing Guni's attempt to sow discord, responded firmly. Catch! Gu and I, in a swift motion, sent the scroll flying towards Meng Fei. That's more like it. Delighted, Meng Fei reached for the scroll, only for it to transform into a radiant life force just as it reached him. Gu and I, you trickster! Meng Fei bellowed in rage, unleashing a simultaneous soul and fire attack against Gu and I. Boom, boom, boom. Despite pocketing a scroll safely, faced with Hua Loxin and Meng Fei, Gu and I started to contemplate retreat. These 2 were certainly no pushovers. You'll have to fend for yourself, Xiaoyan said calmly, considering he had already covertly reclaimed a scroll without anyone noticing. As enticing as the others were, Xiaoyan was not foolish enough to compete against these numerous and powerful fighters, given his team's weaker overall strength. Are you okay? Wu Du and Xiu Qi approached Xiaoyan, inquiring gently. I'm fine. Let them fight it out. The 5 poisons and Xiao Qi, hearing this, felt a tinge of reluctance, but understood the temple was laden with treasures. Most importantly, the inheritance couldn't be delayed any longer. Among the group, 3 scrolls fell into the hands of Song Yu, Gu and I, and Bing Shui. They were now besieged from both sides. Seeing Xiao Yin proceed effortlessly into the depths, a resolute spirit welled within their hearts. On the other side, things weren't easy for Song Yu either. He had just snatched a scroll, but everyone seemed to have gone mad, attacking him without restraint. It's not safe here. We should leave. Hong Qian glanced around, realizing the dire situation. She dared not linger and called out to Song Yu. Qianer, let's go. Song Yu tightened his grip on his sword, using the force of a powerful burst to momentarily scatter those blocking his path before heading deeper inside. In contrast, Bing Shui and Gu Ni's group were halted by other formidable foes. Judging by the opposition's formation, escaping the battle was going to take significant effort. However, the 3 were not to be underestimated, and they summoned their immense life force in a bid to flee. Some strong individuals, realizing the gravity of the situation, abandoned the scrolls and rushed toward what appeared to be an immense palace beyond the treasure chest. Swish, swish. Xiao Yan's group surged into the passageway beyond the treasure chest. As they entered, the surrounding torches flickered to life, revealing a stone door blocking their path ahead. Another space? Someone speculated, surprised. Why is this temple so intricate? Mu Feng voiced, sensing yet another spatial realm at the end of the passageway. Be cautious. We should be nearing the temple's center, warned Xiao Yan. The inheritance isn't in the temple's heart. It seems more like it's at the bottom, Yuru speculated. As Xiao Yan's group emerged from the passageway, an even larger chamber unfolded before them. The Jade Rabbit Hall? Mu Feng was puzzled by a crescent-shaped plaque overhead. Jade Rabbit? Yuru tilted her head slightly, knowing it was closely tied to the Jiaoyu fairy, indicating it might hold clues about her. Let's go in, they said, curiosity stirring as they passed through the door. There was a soft creak as they pushed the stone door open, revealing nothing extraordinary. They entered, followed closely by Song Yu and other powerful figures. As they stepped into the Jade Rabbit Hall, dozens of faint lights suddenly flickered on the walls, illuminating the vast hall. The hall was minimally decorated, with its centerpiece being an enormous statue of a human female. Despite its stone composition, the statue portrayed exceptional vitality and strength. Strikingly, atop her head, a pair of lifelike, fluffy rabbit ears stood out, as if ready to twitch any moment. Aside from this, there was nothing else of note. This temple is so mysterious, Mu Feng murmured, his eyes fixed on the rabbit statue. What is this thing? Song Yu and Hong Qian exchanged glances, clearly baffled about the statue's significance. It's said that beneath the Jiaoyu fairy, there was a jade rabbit, once just a magical beast but a witness to her rise to the status of Do Xian, Bing Shui explained softly. This thing. It seems, Gu and I, and his companions shook their heads, sensing an undefined aura from the statue. Meanwhile, the mysterious rune marks on Qi Haoqing subtly flickered, reacting to the hidden blood curse and the Xianling King's mysterious markings. Welcome to the Jade Rabbit Hall. A sweet voice echoed through the chamber, and then the doors slammed shut. Who's there? Wang Xia called out, his senses alert. His voice met only by ominous silence. Moments later, the heavy stone doors closed with a clang. Who was that voice? A figure questioned, compelled to speak out. I have no clue, came the blunt response. Strange, it's like the voice came from the rabbit statue. The moment that strange voice echoed, Xiao Yan's gaze locked onto the jade rabbit statue, but no clue emerged as the stone figure remained in place silently. The stone door is sealed. We can't get out, Mu Feng observed as he moved to the stone door, pushing hard but finding it immovable. What is this eerie place? Though there weren't many strong cultivators present, there were nearly 100, leaving no one willing to back down just yet. Any discoveries? Xiao Yan asked as he scanned the area, then turned to Yuru. The sudden appearance of that voice, one that Xiao Yan could not trace despite his formidable soul power, was what shocked him the most. After all, Xiao Yan's perception and soul strength were exceptional. Yet if he couldn't detect the origin, the voice must have stemmed from a soul even mightier than his. No, Yuru shook her head, evidently confused as to the source of the mysterious sound. Where did that voice come from? Xingting pondered aloud at this point. It seemed Xingting had entered the ruins seeking treasures to enhance his abilities, but he had no interest in the legacy or battle soul. His master had prophesied that the greatest beneficiary of this relic visit would be the Xinling royal family, a notion that puzzled Xingting, especially considering the Xinling royal family had only one early 7-star Do Di left, Qi Haoqing, after the mid 7-star Do Di Qi Haoren fell to Xiao Yan. That voice just now? The many strong cultivators finally remembered upon hearing the mention of it. Cuckoo, interesting. A peculiar voice resonated again. Fear flooded the hearts of all the strong cultivators present upon hearing this voice. For Yuru, Xiao Yin, Meng Fei, and Lung Fuyao, the fear hit even harder. It's really that guy, Yuru muttered quietly, eyes focusing on the statue once more. Xiao Yin, Meng Fei, and Lung Fuyao, all skilled alchemists, spoke in unison, heavenly-grade imperial-level soul power. A heavy apprehension descended upon everyone's faces after those words. Soul power of the heavenly-grade imperial realm was tantalizingly close to that of a Do Xian's level. While those present boasted significant strength, many were of the 7-star Do Di rank. They might handle a near-perfect 7-star Do Di or a weaker 8-star Do Di, but against a 9-star Do Di, there was no chance. The statue is gone. Suddenly, Gu and I exclaimed. Following his words, everyone turned to the only statue within the hall, only to find it had vanished without a trace. Welcome to the Jade Rabbit Hall. A melodic voice chimed in. I am Jade Rabbit. You are all welcome to die if you covet my master's inheritance. With her words, a graceful figure hovered above the hall's center. The crowd looked up to see a woman seated on a crescent moon, appearing almost human, save for the furry rabbit ears identical to the statue's. Damn it! Attack together! Meng Fei retorted sharply and summoned a radiant surge of life force. The opponent was overwhelmingly powerful, and without fighting back, they all risked dying here. Boom, boom, boom. The cultivators, taking Meng Fei's lead, unleashed a barrage of terrifying attacks toward Jade Rabbit in the air. Petty tricks, Jade Rabbit sneered softly as a mystical silver moon appeared, which gradually absorbed their formidable assaults. Ah, who should be the first? She mused. Let it be you, Jade Rabbit decided, peering down at the strong cultivators below like a reaper. This is impossible. Too powerful. Are we really going to die here today? Some cultivators, despairing at the sight, gave up the fight. However, disciples from several major sects refrained from surrendering. They understood the necessity of seizing every opportunity or risk joining the ranks of the fallen. Esteemed one. As Jade Rabbit poised to strike, Yuru stepped forward, revealing a silver crescent identical to that under Jade Rabbit's feet on her forehead. Oh! Jade Rabbit paused, diverting her interest from the others to Yuru. It seemed she detected a familiar essence emanating from Yuru's forehead. That essence was undeniably of the Jiaoyu fairy. Heh, young one, there seems to be something within you, doesn't there? Jade Rabbit's figure swiftly descended to Yuru's side, lifting Yuru's chin with a slender finger, her tone filled with disbelief. Seeing this, the assembled cultivators retreated quickly. Ah, it's indeed the inheritance rune, thought Jade Rabbit, as it lifted Yuru's chin. A mysterious crescent-shaped rune on her forehead emitted a faint glow. In the next moment, Jade Rabbit glanced at Yuru's companions, and upon seeing Xiao Yin and Mu Yingying, a wave of heat surged through its body. Who would have thought this girl possesses the Jiaoyu fairy's inheritance rune, and those two carry flames that might be the sacred flame, mused Jade Rabbit, contemplating for a moment before inwardly considering a plan. Perhaps they can help free that child? Follow me, Jade Rabbit declared shortly after. You, her, and you both must come. It pointed at Xiao Yin and Mu Yingying, commanding them to follow. This palace holds many treasures. It's best for everyone else to leave, it continued, before issuing a stern warning. Enter at your own peril. A formidable aura emerged from Jade Rabbit, strong enough to freeze their audience in place. A 9-star D-level expert, whispered the onlookers, sensing the futility in challenging such power for mere treasure. They had no choice but to retreat. However, Gunny, Chi Haoqing, and Wang Xie were undeterred, having their own motivations. Let them scurry a while longer, they thought collectively, determined. We want the inheritance and the battle soul. With that, many experts dispersed to explore the palace for other treasures, knowing the heart of the palace was unreachable. Senior, they are my companions. I wonder if... Yuru addressed Jade Rabbit, implying Xiao Qi and the others were under her care. Yuru hoped her connection to the Jiao Yu Fairy's inheritance rune might garner Jade Rabbit's assistance. But to her surprise, Jade Rabbit refused outright. Are you questioning my words? It asked, dismissing Yuru's plea. Despite understanding the rune's significance, Jade Rabbit knew defeating the 2 extraterritorial evil clan members was necessary to fully inherit the Jiao Yu Fairy's legacy. Without the rune, Jade Rabbit wouldn't hesitate to eliminate them. Don't worry about us. Continue inside, the 3 of you, Xiaoqi reassured. With Xiaoyan present, there was hope for success. I'll do my best, Xiaoyan promised, knowing it was on him to aid Yuru. Yuru is strong-willed, either way. Ensure her safe return, Xiaoqi privately requested, revealing his concern only to Xiaoyan. Understood, Xiaoyan nodded, perplexed by Xiaoqi's request. Don't wait for me. If the relic closes, leave first, were Xiaoyan's parting words to Qin Xian's group, acknowledging the relic's trial could be time-consuming. With agreements made, Qin Xian and her group set off through the other palace exits, seeking treasures or natural resources elsewhere. Unbeknownst to many, a powerful entity akin to a Do Xian lurked at one passage's end. Everything set? Then let's go, Jade Rabbit declared to Xiaoyan's group. With a shared glance, they followed. Xiaoyan sensing the danger from Gunny's group, yet dismissing it, unaware they would become the greatest challenge in securing the relic's legacy. A peculiar silvery glow emerged from Jade Rabbit, enveloping them. Xiaoyan noted its lunar-like quality, not an ordinary lightning attribute, gentle, but with deadly undercurrents. Yet, given Jade Rabbit's 9-star Do-D strength, they didn't question its power. Where are we headed? Yuru finally asked, noting how long they'd traveled since parting with Qin Xian's group, still within the silvery light. Rest easy. If I intended harm, you'd have been defenseless, Jade Rabbit reassured. And you're right about one thing. The battle soul isn't here. It's where those others went. The battle soul harbored a deep resentment toward humans, and its fate most likely paralleled that of many others. Little Bai commented with a faint smile. This woman, she's truly devious. At that moment, a flicker of displeasure crossed Xiaoyan's face. Clearly, he had thought if he had confronted the battle soul, he might have had a chance to subdue it. But now, with the battle soul absent from the palace depths and himself led by this damned Jade Rabbit to the place of inheritance, it seemed fate had come between them. Forget it, the inheritance matters more. After a brief inner struggle, Xiaoyan realized that he had already garnered enough from the ruins. Continuing to pursue the battle soul would certainly make him a target of envy. Should other powerful figures join forces against him, he could be in deep trouble. With the battle soul serving as a distraction, there were no other contenders for the inheritance competing with Xiaoyan and his companions at the moment. This was indeed a prime opportunity to obtain the inheritance. Meanwhile, as Xiaoyan and his group made their way toward the depths of the palace, other formidable practitioners encountered their own challenges. That guy Xiaoyan, who knows what kind of luck he stumbled upon, being led by the Jade Rabbit to the depths of the ruins. There must be both inheritance and battle soul there. I'm not satisfied with this. Some practitioners couldn't help but voice their frustration. The thought of Xiaoyan reaping multiple benefits in the ruins, while they labored hard for little gain, irked them greatly. Although there were indeed other precious treasures within the palace, compared to the allure of the battle soul and the inheritance, these treasures were insignificant. Something doesn't feel right. The Jade Rabbit is supposed to belong to Jade Rabbit Island, So why is it appearing here in the palace? And if you recall, didn't Xiao Yin and his group get attacked by a powerful magical beast as they entered the sea region? That beast hasn't shown up since. Xing Luo suddenly spoke to Little Bai beside him. Moreover, according to my divination, the battle soul doesn't seem to be deep within the palace, but rather, it seems to be right here in front of us. Xing Luo continued. But you can't just speak carelessly if you're with Astrology Valley. The battle soul is considered the greatest treasure within these ruins. If it's not deep within the palace, then where could it be? How could it possibly be right here? Meng Fei said with a dark expression. Meng Fei had confidently declared he'd take the battle soul upon entering the ruins. But now, it was frustrating that even though the battle soul seemed so close, it was intercepted by the Jade Rabbit. Meng Fei was filled with hatred, yet against a 9-star Do D-class fighter, he didn't dare act recklessly. Offending such a figure could lead to his own demise. Believe it or don't. Xing Luo snorted coldly, clearly unwilling to engage in deeper discussions with these people. The divination of Astrology Valley is exceptionally reliable, so could it be true that the battle soul isn't deep within the palace, but rather lies along our path? At this, Guni began to hesitate, considering Xing Luo's words. His master, the current leader of Solomon, had secretly tasked him with bringing back the battle soul. If successful, his master's half-step Dosian power would advance significantly, boosting their alliances, standing to perhaps surpass that of the Xinling royal family across the entire mystic three heavens. It seems these people came prepared. Wang Xie observed Qi Haoqing and Guni beside him, detecting an aura of mysterious power he couldn't quite perceive. Let's go, check it out. Soon, Song Yu and Feng Hong took the lead, moving forward. As they proceeded, the path suddenly became brighter, and the atmosphere felt noticeably heavier. Strange, it seems like something's blocking the road ahead. Hua Lixin, at the front, immediately remarked, "What's going on?" The members following Song Yu's group halted and began calling from behind. The path they were on wasn't particularly spacious, being winding yet lengthy, but it could definitely accommodate hundreds of people. There's a seal up ahead. At this moment, Meng Fei stepped forward, examined it closely, and revealed, "A seal? What's a seal doing here?" Feng Hong furrowed his eyebrows upon hearing this. However, everyone could clearly sense that something indeed hindered their forward progress. This seal doesn't seem to imprison anything. Instead, it appears to block the entrance. Meng Fei spoke again after further examination. The seal was colorless and traceless, yet possessed remarkably strong binding abilities. Can it be broken? At this moment, Guni stepped forward slightly, his intuition telling him that there was something significant here, and so he spoke up. If we combine our strength, we should be able to. The power of this seal isn't very strong, Meng Fei contemplated for a moment, then remarked. What are those guys up to? Xiao Qi and the Five Poisons were the first to approach, and then commented. With Xiao Yin absent, it was clear that the two women currently led the three major sects, given their exceptional prowess. You two came just in time. Lend us a hand. Meng Fei addressed the two women immediately. Xiao Qi and the Five Poisons were not to be underestimated. No, we're not sure what you're planning. Let's go, Xiao Qi said, and then retreated to the back of the team with the Five Poisons. Those two bastards, Meng Fei muttered, realizing that the two women had no intention of helping, likely because of their relationship with Xiao Yin. Let's do it. Everyone else, step back, Meng Fei ordered the onlookers, deciding to ignore Xiao Qi and the Five Poisons since they evidently had no interest in getting involved. As soon as he finished speaking, a dazzling surge of life force erupted in the hands of the 7-star Do D level experts, striking at the formidable seal in front of them. Why did we leave? The Five Poisons asked Xiao Qi with some confusion. There's something behind that seal that fills me with dread. It probably isn't anything good. We'd better be cautious, Xiao Qi advised the Five Poisons. There seems to be something here. At this moment, Xing Luo glanced slightly and noticed faint traces of a feather at the seal's entrance. In the deep darkness, it would have been nearly impossible to find unless one looked carefully. However, as a member of Astrology Valley, Xing Luo naturally discovered it. With a slight lift of her hand, A gentle suction drew the feather quietly into Xing Luo's possession. What's this? The feather was gray and emitted a subtle warmth and an ominous aura. With the brilliant life force from other experts, Xing Luo's eyes locked onto the gray feather with intense focus. Little Bai, let's go. Without a backward glance, Xing Luo grabbed Little Bai and bolted backward at astonishing speed. Don't mind her, she's crazy, Meng Fei exclaimed, as he continued to pour endless streams of life force onto the seal before them. What's Astrology Valley up to now? Others didn't comment much on Xing Luo's actions, as one usually had to rely on their own intuition in such matters. The seal, initially colorless, began to emit a mournful vibration and flickered with flowing light as if on the verge of exploding, under the combined assault of so many powerful individuals. Everyone stepped back. The seal is about to break, Meng Fei called out urgently, withdrawing his hand and advising the other experts. Boom. No sooner had he spoken than the obstructive seal before them dissipated into an invisible ripple, scattering in all directions. With the seal's disappearance, an overwhelming aura of timelessness and death emanated from its depths. What a terrifying wave. Sensing the powerful surge beyond the seal, some experts hesitated and pulled back. But as they wavered, Meng Fei, Gunny, and a third figure shot inside with blinding speed. Follow them. They must have discovered something. Song Yu sneered coldly and raced after them. Since breaking the seal, Song Yu had noticed something amiss in the trio's demeanor. Miss, why are we running? After escaping the seal gate for some time, Little Bai, being pulled along by Xing Luo, couldn't help but ask, Do you know what this is? Xing Luo inquired, checking that no one was following before showing the gray feather to Little Bai. A gray feather? What is this thing? Little Bai asked, her curiosity piqued. Remember what our master mentioned? Gray beast, 9 deaths, no life. Xing Luo's eyes were filled with fear. A battle soul? Could it be that beyond the seal lies a battle soul? Little Bai suddenly exclaimed. Most likely. Otherwise, even I wouldn't feel such terror, Xing Luo replied cautiously. A battle soul. Does that mean that those inside might all perish? Little Bai wondered aloud. Perhaps not. According to prophecy, the Xinling royal family may have some hidden ace, and many of these experts likely have secrets of their own. So, I suspect that Solomon, Wang Xie, and Bing Shui also have some latent strengths. They're probably just scouts. The real battle is likely just beginning now, Xing Long shook his head and said. Isn't this space supposed to restrict perfect 7-star Do Di from entering? How come? Xiaobi Song wondered aloud. This relic does indeed have a powerful restriction that imposes immense pressure on those at the perfect 7-star Do Di level. However, if someone's power reaches half-step Do Xian or even more terrifying levels, that suppression would naturally be nullified in an instant. While I'm not entirely sure of the specifics, I recall that there is something that indeed possesses such capabilities. It's just that thing is incredibly precious, Xing Long added. As the group discussed, the mysterious sight beyond the sealed door soon unfolded before them. Meng Fei and Guni's group, having rushed through the sealed entrance, halted at the threshold, evidently having witnessed something terrifying. It's an undying Netherworld Sparrow. An undying Netherworld Sparrow? Meng Fei's heavy voice sounded from behind, but despite the weight of his words, a sense of joy was unmistakable. With Meng Fei's announcement, everyone was struck dumb, an indescribable mix of excitement and fear surging through their hearts. The scene beyond the sealed door had also come into view. This was an immense space filled with molten lava, with only one path leading to the highest point. Atop this path, a towering creature with 10-foot stature, covered in gray feathers, glared down upon Song Yu and the others. The creature stood over 10 feet tall, and its body was cloaked with gray feathers that seemed to ripple with a terrifying aura. Its eyes were tightly shut, its massive crest instilling a profound sense of dread. It's said that the Undying Netherworld Sparrow is a mystical battle soul linked to the Undying Fire. This battle soul has fearsome offensive capabilities and a fierce disposition, thriving in environments filled with molten heat. I never expected we'd come across one. Meng Fei couldn't conceal his excitement. As an alchemist who had perused countless ancient tomes, recognizing this creature in an instant was second nature. Undying fire? That's a sacred flame ranked among the top 25 in legend. At this realization, someone else spoke up. This undying Netherworld Sparrow stands within the top 80 of 108 battle souls. If one were to purify even a sliver of the undying fire, it could potentially rank in the top 30. Some gazes turned heated, voices filled with greed. Unexpectedly, it's the 70th ranked undying Netherworld Sparrow, Song Yu remarked upon seeing this majestic battle soul. You, what's the difference between a battle soul and a magical beast? Hong Qian, following behind Song Yu, asked, bewildered. Battle souls and magical beasts are fundamentally different. Magical beasts are often creatures with limited intelligence. Even if their strength and intelligence increase, they remain within the confines of being a beast. But battle souls are different. Battle souls are entities born from the spiritual energies of heaven and earth. They possess immense power and are essential for Do Xian warriors. Every warrior ascending to Do Xian status has but one opportunity to absorb a battle soul in their lifetime. Absorbing a battle soul not only enhances the body structure, but can also result in the creation of mysterious abilities unique to the battle soul absorbed. If one were to absorb the undying Netherworld Sparrow before us, they would inherit its resilient nature, nearly achieving a state of immortality. Unless utterly annihilated, its recovery abilities might surpass even the most potent elixirs. So everything else doesn't matter. Song Yu explained. Battle souls are truly mysterious. We must bring this back for the master. Hong Qian smiled slightly, contemplating that once the Wine Sword Immortal absorbed this battle soul, he might very well become the strongest in the mystic three heavens. Let's see how it goes. Didn't you notice everyone here is coveting it? Song Yu said in a grave tone. This battle soul won't be easy to tame. As a woman, Hong Qian observed the prideful defiance of the undying Netherworld Sparrow, clearly seeing it considered them beneath its notice. This creature's strength likely reaches the Do Xian realm. Even with force suppressed among the Jiaoyu fairies, it's probably at the peak of the Do Di level, Song Yu said solemnly. So powerful? Hong Qian was taken aback. Not to mention a Do Xian warrior, even dealing with a peak Do Di might be beyond them. We need to gauge the situation. If it doesn't work out, we may have to abandon this battle soul. Song Yu's expression showed a trace of regret. They had not brought any miraculous items from the sect for this expedition to the relics, so this battle soul would be exceptionally challenging to deal with. The power of this battle soul is truly terrifying. Someone remarked immediately after hearing it. What I've mentioned is just the tip of the iceberg. The truly terrifying aspects are probably only known to the powerful figures of each sect, Song Yu continued. These guys. The next moment, Feng Hong's gaze fell upon Hua Lixin, Bing Shui, Gu and I, and some other strong individuals in the crowd. He quickly noticed that all their eyes were fixed on the battle soul. Those unaffiliated, please leave. As for this battle soul, I must have it, declared Gu and I firmly. Although his strength was formidable, it was clear that combating the battle soul directly wouldn't suffice, so he had to resort to some special means. Heh, I was thinking the same thing. Wang Xie chuckled sinisterly. Meanwhile, Qi Haoqing's pupils continuously shifted between a blood-red hue and their normal color. If the attention of those around wasn't so captivated by the battle soul before them, they might have noticed something unusual about Qi Haoqing. As for Hua Lixin, who appeared to be quite composed, she stood unwaveringly, clearly confident in something. Meanwhile, Bing Shui's sharp focus was locked onto the undying Netherworld Sparrow in front, and thus the elite disciples from the major sects closed the distance. Let's go. Seeing the strange aura surrounding these individuals, other weaker warriors were quick to retreat, unwilling to linger any longer. Xiuqi and those from the Five Poisons sect also hesitated briefly, but considering Qin Xian and her group, they swiftly withdrew from the scene. Drip? With the retreat of many warriors, the molten space was left with only a few presences. Bing Shui, Gu and I, Wang Xie, Qi Haoqing, Ming Fei, Hua Lixin, along with Song Yu, Hong Qian, and Feng Hong, 9 in total. What's up with this guy? Is it napping? Feng Hong whispered after a moment, puzzled by the dormancy of the undying Netherworld Sparrow, despite the significant influx of formidable individuals. This behavior was highly unusual. It shouldn't be. The undying Netherworld Sparrow is naturally averse to sleep. Meng Fei shook his head slowly, equally perplexed by this unexpected situation. 9 of us, huh? As the remaining warriors expressed their surprise, the undying Netherworld Sparrow's piercing red eyes gradually opened. An indescribable sense of death began to envelop everyone's minds. Indeed, a Docian-level battle soul? The nine-tailed shadow was taken aback, although not to the extent of being instantly annihilated by the undying Netherworld Sparrow. Yet, they began discreetly preparing their trump cards, clearly ready for a serious confrontation. Undying Netherworld Sparrow, let's see where you can run today, Gu and I said, staring obsessively at the creature, as if it was already in his grasp. A mere 7-star Do-D, defeating you is akin to slaughtering sheep. Since you insist on staying, let's face extinction together. The undying Netherworld Sparrow declared, its massive crest gleaming with red flames as it launched an attack on everyone present. As the red flames approached, chills ran down the spines of the 9 formidable individuals. Heh, who would have thought it'd be the undying Netherworld Sparrow?